Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Rose-Cheeked Laura by Thomas Champion. Thomas has written this poem in 4 stanzas and is written in quatrains, and there is actually no rhyme scheme in the poem, but he has seen to it that the tone is in the same way, that is, it has a unified tone. And what he actually tells in this poem is he idolizes his love with the women whom he loves. That is, for him, the woman whom he loves is actually love. He personifies her as love. He says that if you want to know what is love, you should be in love with this woman whom he calls as rose-cheeked Laura to actually experience love. So he feels that she is completely love and she is made by God, and God has made her to that extent that love is something which you can see in her, which you can experience in her. And he actually begins the poem by calling her as rose-cheeked Laura, and he asks her to come and sing to him. Why he asks her to come and sing to him is so that he will get an opportunity to keep on looking at her while she is singing, and that will be a divine moment for him. And when he talks about her appearance, he says that she herself is music. And he says, imagine if music itself is going to sing, means how beautiful that song would have been and how divine that music will be. And in the next stanza, he talks about Laura's beauty. He says that a very beautiful piece of music can be created only by God, and that is why we call it as divine music. And in the same way, he says that only God could have created a divine beauty like Laura's beauty. And in the second half of the poem, he talks about love in general, and he says that he experiences a beautiful music only with Laura, because all other music or all other conversations or all other arguments are all dull. They don't give you any happiness. And he says only true love can give you happiness, and that only the person who experiences it will know. And he says that the participants of true love will know what it is to be divine, because this love will be eternal. That is, it will never fade away, it will always be there with them, and this love will be ever perfect. And this is the type of relationship he is longing to have with Laura. And when we read the poem, we find in the very first stanza, he actually speaks with Laura. He calls her, he says, rose-cheeked Laura, come, sing thou smoothly with thy beauty's silent music. So here he describes her beauty with silent music. And he says, you come and sing to me your song. Either other sweetly gracing. He says, you are beautiful and your music is also beautiful, and both of you have gracefully combined together in one person. And in the second stanza, he says, lovely forms do flow from consent divinely framed. He says, lovely music can be created only by God. So it is divine music, and heaven is music. And he says, music is heaven and heaven is music. That is, you can experience heaven through music. And then he says, and thy beauty's birth is heavenly. The same way he says, you are so very beautiful that your beauty is divine. That is, your beauty is God's creation. And we find that his description of Laura's music is also here. And at the same time, he says that God only has created you, and that is why you are so very beautiful. And here he refers to both the music and to her beauty, and he feels that both are divinely created by God. And in the third stanza, he says, these dull notes we sing. Here he generalizes all the human beings, and he says that the dull music, here it can even mean the conversations and arguments which we have. He says that they are all very dull because they don't give you happiness. Discords need for helps to grace them. So he says, all these music and arguments which we have, we need something to listen to them. Only beauty, purely loving, knows no discord. But if it is beautiful, if it is pure, then it will not need any discord. Everyone will love it because it will give them happiness. And here we find in the second half of the poem, the poet actually changes his direction, and he is finished directly talking about Laura, and now he describes about the nature of love which is prevalent among human beings, and he refers to the times when we sing the dull notes which are not at all beautiful, and here it can mean to the arguments and the interestless conversations which we have. And he says that there is no music in these moments because they don't give us happiness at all. And then he says that Laura appears to him as a perfect woman for whom it would be impossible to make anyone discomfort or make anyone get angry or even give any negative emotion, because he feels that she is pure love, and this is sort of a love which every human being will be craving for themselves in this world. And in the final stanza he says, but still most delight like clear springs renewed by flowing, ever perfect, ever in themselves eternal. And he says, when you are there, it is like a clear spring which always comes fresh flowing, and they are themselves eternal. It is always there because they are ever perfect. And this is how he says in the final section of the poem. He says that when pure love is there, wherever it is, it will thrive, and it will give more delight, and it will be very powerful without any violence. And this is what each and every human being requires, needs in this world to live life which will make them happy. This is how he ends the poem. I'm sure you would have enjoyed the poem. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.